Hello guys, today we will talk about something new which is called Salesforce DevOps testing. So it's another package that you could install into on top of the Salesforce DevOps Center. Video about Salesforce DevOps Center we already have on our channel. And what it will allow you to do, it will allow us to actually configure the specific quality gates related to different environments that we have in our pipeline. So at this moment, what is mentioned that it's first of all generally available. So that means that we could already start and use it. So also it works based on the Salesforce DevOps Center, and it's called DevOps testing. So it's actually like the separate package that we could install and actually use. So at this moment, if you will take a look, what is actually Salesforce DevOps testing, right? We will be able to identify that it's actually a tool which is actually allow us to use things like a code analyzer for us to be able to actually take a look, like what kind of potential troubles we have with our code. We have here a possibility to use scale tests with the support of Apex, Flows test, and Agentforce testing center, which is coming soon as well. And partner tools like, for example, Capada, Provar, Quality Cloud, and others. So at this moment, what it means that we could configure, like through connectors, like these tools, and then those specific, like test cases which are available and configured through these tools, we could run through our pipeline. So at this moment, our DevOps testing should allow us to actually do so. Plus, like at this moment, it's announced that it's could do Agentforce related testing. And before we will actually deploy it, so it will allow us, like to run it, run unit tests, also test Apex flow sections. And with the help of the Code Analyzer version 5, we will be able to test our integration with Apex unit tests and flow tests. So let us see how we could actually set it up. So here on the developer.salesforce.com, it mentions that they did, like that demo, let's say based on their demo project, call it DX25. And the applications that they actually created call it Coral Cloud Simple App. So what actually need to be done? So once we have our DevOps Center installed, on top of DevOps Center, what we need to do is we need to download a managed package from the App Exchange, and we should install it on the same org where we already have our DevOps Center. So after that, we will have the following permission sets that we will have to assign. So one of them is default testing manager. So it's actually for managers who oversee the testing strategy. And another one is default testing user for anyone running tests or reviewing the results. So once we will have them assigned, we will be able to see DevOps testing application in our app launcher, and we will be able to go through the tabs. So in the first tab where we have test providers, we actually could click new and we could connect, like wherever new test providers we need to have, as you could see here. So here we have some for unit tests, some for Capada robotic testing, and others. So at this moment, it will look like this one. We will click on the new. And here you could see that we have a possibility to configure and read more information how to configure things related to Agentforce Testing Center, Apex Tests, or Capada, or Provar, or any kind of other. So it's easy to do it from here, like using that wizard. So when, we connected a new test provider, the DevOps testing automatically will synchronize the various tests and test suites, group of tests between the selected test provider and DevOps testing. And we, after that, could track the synchronization in the test provider sync history tab. So here, when we are going, like we could see everything what we have actually connected, everything what is available. So here you could see when we have last execution time, well, description we have which of them are actually active, to which projects they are related, because on the DevOps we could have multiple projects connected, multiple pipelines. And then we have our test provider, right? As you could see here, some of them are actually related to unit tests that we are running on different environments and so on and so forth. So it's easy to see it from here. So what else we might get from here, right? So we already discussed that we could connect our code analyzer. So code analyzer have different kind of settings, right? How it could actually test our code. So at this moment we could see which kind of the specific, like tests related to the code analyzers we could actually use. So some of them are actually related to the, like possibility to use white spaces. Some of them related to class naming convention, and so on and so forth. And for each of them, what we have is we actually have, the specific severity, right? So items with, severity number 1, 2, we need to review anyway, right? Then for 3, for example, 4, right, we could decide how actually, well, what should be our strategy on top of it and how we would like to move forward. So as it's described here, right, 1 is the most critical, 5 is the least. So in that manner, we could decide, how we would like to deal with them actually, like at different kind of stages. So when we have our providers, set up, what we need to do is we need to assign our test suites to run automatically at different pipeline stages. So let us take a look into the stage assignment. So what is the stage assignment? In the stage assignment, we could create different kind of stages related to different kind of environment. Like for example, that one related to integration environment, UAT, stage and production environment, something related to work item review, and so on and so forth. So that means that, like whenever a work item, for example, for the first one, right? Whenever work item for this project enters the code review stage in the DevOps center, then what will run, right? So for example, we could see here 3 test suites are actually assigned. So here what we have, right, is we have the basic, like items which are regularly connected to the work item, right? So when we have a pull request, usually we have what? We have a static code analyzer, we have some tools which is taking a look if our, like unit tests coverage is actually good and so on and so forth. So when we click in, on the, like what we would like to assign to the specific test stage, in that moment we could decide, like in terms of our test providers which are available, environments which are available, right? We could decide what kind of test suites we would like to actually allocate to that specific, like test. Like for example, we would like to do a regression security test, we would like to do some agent force testing, and then we could save it, right? So in that case, it will be actually added into that test. And as you could see, some of them are actually related to different providers. One of them related to Capada robotic testing, a security suite we have from the code analyzer version 5, testing agent force, and so on and so forth. So it's easy to connect all this stuff. So then what we have else, so it's for each suite, we have a possibility to set up a quality gate rule. Like for example, if you would like for all tests to pass, to ensure that only high quality code moves forward. So in that case, we could select, like which of them are actually good, which of them are, like let's say good to have, but not really required. So for all of these, we could actually configure it, like attach it to the specific gate rule, and after that, it will be, connected. So then let us review the chapter related to test DevOps Center work items. Right, so here what we have, we have our work items in the DevOps Center. So work items, it's kind of our, let's say, user stories. For each of the user stories, we have potentially PR, let's say, related to it, right? We have an, let's say, related environment where at this moment that user story is actually located, and we would like to move some of them, for example, from the Dev A environment to some another environment, and we would like to confirm that everything is actually good. So when we actually take a work item that has been committed, so we are clicking, like create review. So usually when we would like to create a PR, so we will get a new message that tests are still running or haven't passed. So in that case, we will be able to actually see assigned test cases from there, right? And understand what, like specific items are actually not passing, right? So that means that DevOps testing, like working, right? And in the background, it's actually doing and running all these test suites that we selected, and it's actually show us our status in order to be able to see where we are. So if you would like to see in, like what is the status of our test suite execution, then we are going to our test suite execution groups. And from here, we could see where we are, like what is the status of our test groups and what is their execution time. So from here, we could review what tests I actually passed, like what is a quality gate, and so on and so forth. And also it shows us history of the previous runs. So when we open our test suite execution group, so we could see individual results for each of the tests. So what it means? That when we are sitting here, right, if it's a test suite execution group, so that means that it's entire group result, right, showing up here. But when we clicking on the actual test suite, we could see result of individual tests. And from here you could see, like, for example, security pass set, agent force testing pass set, and for example our regression pass set, right? So based on it, we could see, like how it was, like, and what items actually were passed and what are generally result. So then what we could also do is we have a possibility to look level deeper and view details for each test suite. So for instance, if we select the security test suite, we see the following, right? So we could see what kind of specific runs it actually did inside of it. So we could see that it's validated our libraries that we have inside of it, right? It's validated that we have no inner HTML, that we have no gaps in the CRUD violation, like another stuff, right? So all this kind of stuff we could review here, right? In order to be able to understand what exactly checks were done as a part of our security check. So, and what we have here is we have a conclusion, right? That it's, like our new functionality on the Salesforce, which is available, which is making the Salesforce DevOps tool now much massive, right? And much more valuable. So if we could, like now not just build the pipeline, right, with all the work items and possibility to promote it from one environment to another, but now we have a possibility to run let's say any kind of test cases that we need to have, right? Any kind of quality stuff, and connect any kind of, like test provider. In that case, it's giving us, like a lot of flexibility to build our pipelines with the help of the Salesforce DevOps Center. So it looked like Salesforce trying actually to make their product more popular, right? And trying to actually nullify at this moment gaps of their solution, because previously why a lot of companies even not starting to take a look into the Salesforce DevOps Center. So first of all, it was no possibility to actually set up quality gates. Of course, it was possible to do it with the Git actions, but it was, like not through the, entire DevOps solution, right? If you need to configure here and there, so sometimes it's not something which is flexible. So at this moment, they're trying to actually nail it down and see how it actually will give a possibility to the user who is already using the DevOps Center to increase, like their satisfaction and to be able to actually grab a new customers for the Salesforce DevOps Center.